Hello, folks. Thank you for getting here early. Please familiarize yourselves with the controls of this live webinar, and we'll be with you right around 10:30. Thank you. Good morning, and welcome to today's program. I'm your host, Lenny Orlov. If you are joining us online, live, or on YouTube, go ahead and check out the closed captioning feature by clicking on the gear under the video and selecting one of 7 languages: Arabic, Chinese, English, Korean, Russian, Spanish, or Vietnamese. Seattle Human Services is proud to offer real-time captioning in 6 languages in addition to English as part of Age-Friendly Seattle's virtual events. Today's show happens to be number 30 in 2020. And we want to thank you all for you and all of you and our previous guests for your loyal support this year. But if you're new to our YouTube channel, please do click the subscribe button and the bell to be notified so that you know when we add new content that you and your friends can enjoy. This programming is offered as just one of the ways to help older adults stay safely connected to and informed about community and government resources during the COVID-19 pandemic. We're live with Close to Home or the Civic Coffee Hour every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Time, except for the fifth Thursday of the month, like this month, and on major holidays. But there are also special events, like tomorrow's very special coffee hour with Mayor Jenny Durkin. These special events are done in collaboration with other departments and organizations and take place about 2 or 3 times a month. So tomorrow, October 23rd at 9:30 a.m., we'll be welcoming Mayor Durkin with an update on her proposed budget. We hope that you will come back at just less than 24 hours from now for this rare opportunity to connect directly with our city's top elected official. And even though there is no show next Thursday, on Friday, October 30th, we'll host the third and final LGBTQ and Two-Spirit panel for 2020, this time on BIPOC communities' participation in vaccine trials. Regardless of topic, all of our online programs are accessible from the same virtual event hub, bit.ly/age-friendly-live. There are no spaces, but each word is capitalized. Visit there anytime to find information on upcoming events and a playlist with all the previous episodes, also with subtitles in those 7 languages. So finally, on to today's Close to Home presenters. We'll first hear about South Park Senior Center from Katherine Jordan, followed by Zoe Freeman, with an update on Pike Market Senior Center's annual Great Figgy Pudding Caroling Competition. Our guests will each have a total of 15 minutes, 10 to present and 5 for questions. In the interest of time, we ask that you go ahead and leave a comment right now with anything you'd like them to address, even while they're still speaking. On the live show, each time we stop for the Q&A, we'll always go to the phones first, followed by as many online questions as we have time for. My City of Seattle colleague, Andrea Yip, will gather all of your input and pass it along to our guests, who will either respond on the live broadcast or in a YouTube comment if we do run out of time. You'll also get the presenter's contact information in case you wanted to reach out directly. And with any questions related to aging or disability, please call 1-844-348-5464 and speak to a Community Living Connections advocate. They can help locate a wide range of resources, including food and meals. The call is free, interpretation is available upon request, and services offered are professional, confidential, and most are also free of charge. Again, that number is 1-844-348-5464. You may also visit them on the web at communitylivingconnections.org to see the list of participating organizations in the network and learn about their full range of services. Again, communitylivingconnections.org. So first up on today's Close to Home is Katherine Jordan. She's the Executive Director of South Park Senior Citizens. For the past 20 years, Katherine has brought a long-standing commitment to human services, serving diverse communities, those who are most vulnerable, and building collaborative partnerships while delivering culturally sensitive programming, resources, and services. Katherine has been an advocate for community inclusion and social justice while working to offset compromised social determinants of health within our region. I want to give a special shout out actually to South Park Senior Center. Back in 2019, Age Friendly Seattle was looking to expand our in-person programming to reach bilingual older adults all around Seattle. So South Park agreed to be the pilot screening location for our live broadcasts. They have this big screen TV and a karaoke machine with a powerful speaker, and more importantly, they have community members that speak Khmer and Vietnamese in addition to English. That seemed like perfect combination for starting down that road to providing culturally and linguistically responsible programming in 2020, but then COVID hit and the arrangement had to be put on hold until better times. And even though we're not quite there yet, I'm very pleased to finally be collaborating with South Park Senior Center. So, Katherine, thank you so much for being here today. Please remember to unmute your microphone. You're live and close to home.
Wonderful, thank you. Hello, and Lenny, thank you for the introduction. And I'm delighted to be here this morning and to highlight the work that's happening at South Park, and to also be here in collaboration with Zoe and the Pike Place Senior Center as well. So I am new at South Park. I have been with South Park for just over 3 months. It's been wonderful joining the team and joining the community, although due to COVID, it is a very crazy time to join an organization. There's very little that remains the same of what programming was intended to be. And we just are really focused on responding to the pandemic at this time. South Park Senior Center, we're located in Seattle's most diverse neighborhood, and it is a place for community. It's a place for friends to gather, for friends to be made, for culture to be celebrated, a place for growth and learning and activity and sharing amazing meals, and just a lot of laughter. And with our building closed until phase 4, and with our seniors homebound, we're recognizing that the space is empty and it's lonely, and our staff is missing our seniors, and our seniors are missing each other. Every day we've been recognizing the impacts of the social isolation that COVID has brought to our seniors. Many of them are experiencing signs of depression and anxiety and extreme loneliness in ways that they've never experienced before. We continue to be very limited in our capacities. But what we can provide is centered on our priorities of staying connected to our seniors and helping to ensure their health and their well-being. When the center was opened, our seniors gathered to share meals together. Now we are preparing and delivering dinners to over 200 seniors at their homes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evening. This program's been very successful. We have been able to make this shift to delivering, but unfortunately we're functioning over our extended capacity, and we're not able to deliver any more than the 200 we currently are. And we know that we have many more of our seniors who could be utilizing food services in this way. We continue to provide support services through virtual meetings and phone visits with our social worker, and recognizing the demand and increase that we're seeing for support, we are growing our social work team, and we'll be adding 2 additional team members soon. We have moved our fitness classes online, and you're able to find yoga every Monday with Willa, and enhanced fitness with Yusan on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And very soon we'll be adding our line dancing again. Each week we also host virtual gatherings for our Cambodian and Vietnamese communities. These gatherings are a place for them to come together, to share information, share stories, catch up with friends, and even sing a bit of karaoke, which they love to do each week. Something they truly look forward to. And we're hoping to soon start a virtual book club again. Through a wonderful partnership with the University of Washington Nursing Program, we're also about to launch a program that will offer multiple ways for our seniors to connect with each other, again, in meaningful ways. And that's something that we are really striving to meet and recognize that's a true need within our community. We also, on our website, we've recently established a community resources page specifically to highlight current resources and points of interest so that our seniors, our community can easily connect in there. Currently, if you visit, you're going to find information on where to get a flu vaccine, and then also information on our regional reduced fare permit program that we're working in partnership with Seattle's Department of Transportation. And this permit provides $1 fares for seniors and for those living with disabilities, as well as we're able to provide a ORCA card with $36 preloaded on it, which will be a great support for the first few weeks, few months of travel. During this time, we just, we continue to look for meaningful ways to stay connected. We're missing our seniors as much as they're missing the camaraderie of the center. The seniors were truly the biggest and brightest part of our day and the joy in our work. And at the center, we're missing them. We're missing our diverse and unique community. And we can't wait to get back together after COVID. We just continue to look to that time, although we don't know when that will be. And we are just really striving to meet the current needs, but really keep our eye on what can be possible when we are back together again. That's where we're looking to the future, and just missing everyone in the meantime.
Thank you, Catherine. I believe you have another slide there. Would you like us to move over there?
Sure.
Next?
Sure. Just our contact information.
Okay, so here is the contact information on the screen now, I believe. So can you tell us a little bit more about, how can folks get in touch? So somebody is answering the phones now, is that true?
Yes, our staff is in the building, and so we are there Monday through Friday. We're able to answer the phone. If you leave a message, we will be getting back to you within 24 hours. You're able to connect out to our website as well for resources. And I'm happy to be reached on the mobile number that's listed there as well with any questions or anything that might be needed.
Great. So let's go ahead at this time and go over to our phone lines and see what questions folks might have there. But to all of you out there online, this is a time to go ahead and type in your feedback and questions or suggestions for Catherine and South Park Senior Center. But let's hear what's happening on the phones right now. Give me just a second to do that. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the phone. What is your question or comment? All right. Well, thank you for being here. We do appreciate you stopping by. Let's go over and have a look in our online Q&A and see what questions we might have there. I'm going to turn it over to Andrea for that.
Good morning, Lenny and Catherine. No questions yet, but I do actually have a question. I used to volunteer at South Park, great center. Just wondering if you're looking for more volunteers, and if so, how would they contact you?
Oh, thank you. Great question. Yes, we are definitely looking for more volunteers. Something that when COVID came into play, we said that we didn't want to have seniors in our center volunteering. We wanted to keep them safe, and so many of our volunteers are our own seniors, and so we found limitation there as far as volunteers coming in, and especially now with folks returning to work, more and more limitation. If folks are interested in volunteering, we would be delighted to visit with you, and just a call to our main number would be fine, and leaving your contact info there. We are we're always looking for support around our meal service, food prep, the boxing and bagging, and getting the meals out to the seniors. And then we also have many other activities that we can look to support within the center as well. Thank you.
That's all, Lenny.
All right. Well, I also have a question. Considering the type of things I'm doing here is, as you can see, we're using Microsoft Teams, the web version for attendees, but that's how we're broadcasting these weekly shows. And you have weekly yoga and other fitness classes, right? I'm curious, what platform are you using for those, and has it been? What's the experience been like for folks?
Well, we are using Zoom for those. And what we do for folks, if they're interested in joining a class, if you go to our website and go to our calendar page, you can find an email address for both of the instructors. And if you're interested in joining, you can email the instructor and they will then send you a link to be able to join the class. And but we've found it works very, very well. And we've had upwards of, I believe, 12 individuals joining. So a lot of activity on the screen.
Yeah, sounds like it. And as far as I know, Zoom does support, showing everybody at once. So it almost feels like an actual class. And online exercise is not for everyone. I just started doing karate with my son, who is a black belt, and he's persisted on and continues to advance. And I had to stop. I couldn't do it, even though I love doing things online. But I'm so glad to hear that some folks are finding this meaningful. Looks like there's there's a couple of questions there related to this. Let me just turn it right back over to Andrea for that.
Yes, hi, Catherine. So some folks want to know when the activities on Fridays are going to resume, and are there any activities at the center? And then just another question about your yoga class, and is that online?
Yes, the yoga class is online. It's on Monday. And the Friday gathering, I'm assuming they're referring to the Cambodian gathering or the Vietnamese gathering, which involves the karaoke. I'm thinking that's probably what they're referring to. That is happening virtually. And so if there is an interest, I'd love to have them, reach out and give the office a call so that we could connect them in to those virtual gatherings. But there are no activities happening at our center. The building is closed until phase 4. And so we have nothing taking place in the center at this time.
Okay, I think the answer was yes, that's what they were referring to. So thank you for the information.
Great.
So, Catherine, thank you so much for stopping by today, and yeah, giving us a glimpse into what you're currently doing and what opportunities to engage exist currently. And you know, we will look forward to hearing from you again next year to see if maybe we could go back to that arrangement where if we go back to in-person events, if we could maybe broadcast to your center and other centers. I hope that you would still be willing to participate in something like that. So thank you again for being here.
Absolutely. We would love to. We would love to. We'll look forward to it.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to move along in our program. So let's see. Oh, that's interesting. Somehow we got to the end of our presentation, but we should be on this slide right here. Can everybody see the? Hopefully, everybody can see the South Park Senior Center slide here. So again, that's the contact information for the center, and we hope that you will check it out. So next up on our program, we're going to learn about another senior center in Seattle. But before we do, I'd like to share a resource that is there to help all of us navigate the COVID-19 pandemic. According to coronavirus.wa.gov, which is Washington State's coronavirus response website, staying home is still safest. To prevent virus transmission and move us closer to a successful safe start, we're encouraged to stay as close to home as possible. But if we must go out, we are asked to continue social distancing, wearing our facial coverings, and washing our hands frequently. This information is currently offered in 36 languages, which is really great. There's you'll notice if you visit this website that there's a special emphasis on safe gatherings. This is a recent update, and they describe them as ranging from, you know, just friends visiting your home to Halloween and other community celebrations. But really, the take-home message here is fewer, shorter, smaller, safer. And you see the graphic there if you're watching this online. Other information such as what's open, where to get help, and how to report a violation and things like that are also available on coronavirus.wa.gov. Please do tell your loved ones about this online resource and also about Washington Department of Health Assistance Hotline. So they invite us to call 1-800-525-0127, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, and on observed state holidays. Again, that number is 1-800-525-0127. Or if you just want to talk about the stress related to COVID-19, please do call Washington Listens at 1-833-681-0211. And that's open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and on weekends from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Again, the number for Washington Listens is 1-833-681-0211. So we do thank you for passing this information along. But next, I would like to continue with our close to home stories of health tech and resilience. And our next guest is Zoe Freeman. Programming and Member Services Manager and Head Figlet at Pike Market Senior Center and Food Bank. Zoe has worked at Pike Market Senior Center for nearly 30 years and has been the manager of the Great Figgy Pudding Caroling Competition for 14 of those. She has worked with older adults most of her work life in both nursing and programming. Her professional passion is finding ways for people to engage with one another and enrich their lives through opportunities to be creative, learn new things, be physically active, socialize, and grow spiritually. Zoe, thank you so much for being here today. I think you do have the microphone unmuted, so
I do. Can you
welcome
hear me?
to the program.
Right.
Can hear you loud and clear. You're live.
All right. Thank you, Lenny. And I have to say, I really enjoyed hearing from South Park and the wonderful things you're doing. So the Pike Market Senior Center is, I think you may know, we're located in the heart of the wonderful Pike Place Market in downtown Seattle. We are a fun senior center. We're also very diverse. We are welcoming to people who are 55 years of age and older. One of the big things that we do every year, I'm not going to talk a lot about the senior center because I'm here to talk about our annual fundraiser, which I think is like a really cool, fun event that Seattle loves. And if you were here in front of me, dear audience, I'd ask for a show of hands and I would ask you, how many of you have heard of or have attended the Great Figgy Pudding Caroling Competition? And I'm just imagining, I'm wondering who's holding up their hand, if any of you are familiar with our fundraiser. Every year for the past 33 years, and this is the 34th year, we take over downtown Seattle on the first Friday of each December. We close streets. Yeah, there's some great photos. We close the streets from 7th to 4th on Pine and from Olive to Pike on 5th Avenue. We close off that whole retail area and we put on this big event. It's a destination event. It is huge fun. We usually attended by about 10,000 people normally in a normal year. And we normally have from 35 to 40, maybe a few more than 40 teams of people on the street staying in their location. The crowd circulates, the teams of carolers stand still. They sing for an hour from 6:15 to 7:15. And during that time, they are raising money and being judged, And then at 7:15, we all run and rush to the main stage for the sing-off. All the best teams get on stage and compete for a lot of prizes and titles. They get titles, best this and best that. 80%, this is really important to know, that 80% of the fundraising happens before the event. The teams start raising money at the minute they register, starting in September. They raise money, and they bring that money to the event, either online or personally, and that constitutes 80% of our fundraising. The other 20%, of course, is raised the night of Figgy. Well, you know, the age of COVID-19 hit, and first thing we said, one of the things I said to myself was, what do we do about Figgy pudding? I already prophesied, I think, as we were all figuring out the news we were getting, that big gatherings like this, which you see before you, would not be happening in December, that we needed to think differently, we needed to pivot. And I started talking to people about a thing called virtual Figgy. I didn't know what that was going to be. I just said, we're going to do it virtually. I pictured us, in our team here at the senior center. I thought, well, we're going to put this together. We're going to get we're going to get some volunteers to help us, and we're going to make this happen. Well, we got smart, and we realized pretty quickly, maybe not too quickly, but August, I think it was, that we can't do this ourselves. If we're going to have an event worthy of the brand, worthy of the name Figgy Pudding, worthy of the event that it always is, that we needed to work with professional people. So we found the best professionals in Seattle and hired them and started working with them. We are working with David Dockstader of the workshop, and we're working with Dave Mandapat, who used to be the PR person at the Space Needle, and working with their teams. I am very proud to announce to you, and this is the first public announcement of this event. So I'm going to tell you what Virtual Figgy is going to look like. And we've changed the name to the Great Figgy Pudding Caroling Celebration. We haven't changed our logo yet, but the Great Figgy Pudding Caroling Celebration. If you'll see that our logo, our little guy there, or it's not a guy, our little character is masked. We did that. But the announcement I'd like to make to you, and you'll be the first hearing this, as I said, is that we are going to be on television on King 5. So mark your calendars, December 11th at 7:30 in place of King 5 Evening Magazine program. You will see the Great Figgy Pudding Caroling Celebration. We will have Kim Holcomb and Jim Dever emceeing, just like they do for Evening Magazine. The show is going to resemble Evening Magazine. We're formatting it to resemble that. You will get to see 5 of the caroling teams on that show. Shelley Hart from Warm 106.9, I think she's Shelley Jingle Bell Hart is her holiday name. She's also going to be one of the MCs, and there'll be messaging and information about Figgy and about the Pike Market Senior Center and Food Bank. The other thing that we're doing is for a 2-week period, starting December 4th and running to December 18th, you can visit our online program. It's going to be a little map, and you can click on little doors, opening on the little doors on the map, and behind the doors you'll see caroling teams. I think at this point we have 12 caroling teams participating. So behind the door you'll see caroling teams, or you'll see Jim and Kim and Shelley, or you'll see the famous Figgy judges that normally judge the event, and you will see our director talking and just fun things like that. So that is what Virtual Figgy Pudding is going to look like. And we hope that you'll join, and you can vote by making a donation. There's going to be opportunities for donations throughout the entire 2 weeks. Online donations, buttons to click, and things like that. Checks to give, we're going to be doing checks to give. So thank you, Letty. That's what's happening this year.
All right. Thank you for that overview. Sounds interesting and unusual. And why don't we have folks who are watching us online ask any questions? I know I have some questions, but I'll hold those because there was a question that came in for Katherine, and let's go back to that real quick while folks are typing in questions for you, Zoe, and then I can ask my question if there's time. So Andrea, I'm gonna switch it over to you for that question about South Park.
Hey, Katherine. So folks are wondering about the virtual gathering on Friday, the Vietnamese gathering, how they can access that. How do they get in there virtually?
If they could contact, call the office and leave a message with their contact information, I will have the people who run those gatherings reach out and give them the link that they can connect into.
All right. Thank you. That's great, and I think we have posted that contact information in the chat earlier. All right, so going back to Figgy, while we're waiting for folks to type in their questions, I'll go ahead and get my question in here. And this is a very kind of an honest reaction. When I first heard about Figgy pudding, and I think I heard about it from a colleague who is familiar with this and is sings in the choir. I thought that, Figgy pudding, I was thinking about a pudding. And so, and then I was told, no, it has nothing to do with pudding. So I was confused. And I'm just curious where the name comes from. Not being a native speaker, I immediately just go to the words, but it must have history that I was not aware of.
The father of Figgy Pudding, the executive, who was then 34 years ago, executive director of the Pike Market Senior Center and Food Bank, is just a genius. The man is an absolute genius. And I don't know if he even remembers. We've asked him. He's now in a normal Figgy year. He's a judge. He's one of the judges. He was just a great person. And he, I think he just pulled it out of the air. And I have always thought that, is that what university is it that has Hasty Pudding? It's like a comedy group that they call Hasty Pudding. I have always thought that that's where they got the name. It was just like a play on this comedy repertoire group that I think is Yale or Princeton has, and I've always thought that it was that. But I know, it's crazy. I mean, it was such a concept. Daniel Knudsen Braddock wanted a fundraiser. He thought luncheons had been overdone. He thought auctions were hard to put on. And he just came up with this concept. And it has grown and grown and grown to what it is today, which is basically a huge destination event for the city. And I give him the credit for dreaming or coming up with the great Figgy pudding.
Wow, so there's lots of history there, and it's such a great cause. Having worked for a nonprofit for almost 7 years that had a yearly luncheon, I know that this. Well, I can imagine that this is probably much more of a spectacle and much more engaging and gets people out. And it's different this year, but it sounds like you are making the best of it. So thank you for sharing.
We're trying to, thanks to the people that are working with us. And one thing I forgot to mention was that if you to see the online portion that's going to be available to you from the 4th of December to the 18th, you'll go to our website. I see you have the website listed. Go there and you'll be able to click on the URL for I think that it'll live on YouTube, and you can be a link to it on our website that you can enjoy you can go around the Figgy map and see all the fun things.
Got it.
So the dates I gave you were the original dates. We've extended that, and I wasn't able to tell you that we had to edit that. But.
Okay, good to know. Thank you for mentioning that. But if folks visit the website, they should get the latest information.
They will.
Okay, great. Well, thank you again, Zoe, for being here. We appreciate the update. Am I getting a signal from Andrea that there's no more questions? Okay, great. Well, I think we will probably move on to to the next part of our show. I will go ahead and advance to our final slide, which is a thank you slide for the most part, but I do, in addition to thanking our guests today, for thanking Zoe and talking about how this tradition will be different this year, but it will be this year. I also want to do a special mention to the Pike Place Market Foundation. Age Friendly Seattle really appreciates our partnership, and we've done such projects as market walkability assessment, where we had older folks and local professionals that work with older adults walk around with an app created by researchers at Stanford, and looking at what the market is like for older adults and people with disabilities. And they were taking pictures, taking notes, and it helps us sort of assess what the city is like, how age-friendly is it, and what we can do to make it a better place to grow up and grow old. Again, thank you, Catherine. We appreciated the update on South Park Senior Center, and it sounds like folks will be in touch with you about some of your events. And as always, thank you, all of you, for tuning in to the live show and for checking it out on YouTube. If you haven't already, please go ahead and join our virtual community, and you can do that. It's free. You can do that by subscribing, by clicking the subscribe button and clicking the notification bell. What that does is it just lets you know as soon as this video is posted. It'll probably be a week or so, or anything else, like the Mayor's Coffee Hour or our regular coffee hour that we had last week, which was with the DSHS Chief of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs and one of the Refugee Advisory Council members for Washington State. And they talked about how, refugee elders is their focus nowadays. Before you go, though, we do want to remind you about that network of community organizations that the city and the county contract with, called Community Living Connections. You can call them with anything related to aging or disability, including questions about meals, exercise, or even the process of voting in the current election, which we do encourage all of you to do in the next 2 weeks. The number is 1-844-348-5464, or you can visit them on the web at communitylivingconnections.org. We appreciate you all very much and hope that you and your friends will join us tomorrow in less than 24 hours for that coffee hour with Mayor Durkin, or at another Age-Friendly Seattle virtual event. Take good care, y'all, and have a nice weekend if we don't see you.